Brand equity is a customer's emotional and mental connection with your brand. It transcends the product. This is why Coca-Cola and Starbucks and Southwest Airlines, that I flew on yesterday, they're so powerful because it's not just about the product. There's an emotional connection there that I will be a longtime customer, even if somebody else comes with a cheaper price.
Okay, Shannon, we're talking about the biggest things that are happening in e-commerce right now and how sellers can respond to those. One of the first things that you told me that you brought up was brand defensibility.
Yeah.
Brand being the last line of defense, your words,
Yeah.
for sellers. Tell me about that concept. Why is that? What is it? What is that, and why is it so important?
Yeah, so we're in a day and age where we've got so much competitors, and the way I look at it is you have innovators and you have imitators, right? So you have the innovators who are creating innovative products, higher quality, higher value, premium brands, and then you got people who see that growth trajectory and they go, I want a piece of that, and they come in with sort of a subpar knockoff, right?
Yep.
And in a commoditized world, the challenge is you're never going to be able to win because somebody will always be able to come in underneath you and undercut you on price. So building that brand awareness, that brand equity is really the last line of defense, and it creates a moat around your sales. That if people know you, more importantly, if they trust you, if they like you as a brand, they're going to be invested in you, and they're going to remain a recurring customer. So one of the things, when you first sort of brought that up to me is really brand defensibility. And so there's sort of 4 areas that I look at that creates an actual moat of defensibility around your brand today. The first one is intellectual property, right? So utility patents and design patents. Trademarks are great to protect the brand name itself, but they don't protect the product. You really got to go the extra mile and get that patent infringement ability to take down sellers who are really infringing on your intellectual property. So design patents and utility patents. The second one is sourcing. If you have exclusive sourcing, right, where you can get a product that nobody else can get, or you can get the raw materials that nobody else can get, you've got a product that people can't replicate, right? The third one is cost prohibitive manufacturing. And so we've got a client, they say, look, people were knocking off our first product. We were able to kick them off using Apex, Amazon's patent infringement program. But the next one, no one's going to be able to knock us off because it costs $60,000 in molds just to get the product made, right? The people who are looking for that free, quick dollar, they're not going to be willing to invest $60,000 in molds to knock it off. So the cost prohibitive manufacturing is the third line of a defense. And the last one, honestly, Cameron, is building that brand awareness and brand equity. Brand equity is a customer's emotional and mental connection with your brand. It transcends the product. This is why Coca-Cola and Starbucks and Southwest Airlines, that I flew on yesterday, they're so powerful because it's not just about the product. There's an emotional connection there.
It's an experience, yeah.
There's an emotional connection there that I will be a longtime customer, even if somebody else comes with a cheaper price. I flew Spirit Airlines, cheaper price, not
Different
a better
connection.
experience.
No.
Not a better experience. And so I look at those as sort of the last line of defense. And what we do at Avenue 7 Media is we help brands build and grow and launch, grow, and protect their brands on Amazon. But there's a side of that the brand has to do that no agency, no company can do for them. You got to be willing to grow and protect your brand from the inside out, from that intellectual property, from the sourcing, from the cost prohibitive manufacturing. And then you got to build a brand. You got to build brand awareness.
You said there are innovators and then there are
imitators.
And in my mind, that this list of 4 is what leads to people being innovators, right? Am I right in tying that back together?
You can't patent a product that somebody else has patented already. If you are able to get a utility patent or design patent, it means you have innovated. And people think that brand is a brand guide, a logo. It's the beautiful Teikametrics colors that people love so much, but it's more than that. It's about building the community awareness of your brand. And what I think is most important is what the brand stands for, right? The why. I'm a huge Simon Sinek fan. Why did you start your brand? And if it's just to make money, you can be honest about that, but it's not going to go very far. Most great brands have an ability to transcend even the product itself. Starbucks was designed to be a third place where people could stop between work and home and have a place where they could have a moment to themselves, they could meet a friend, they could work on a book or whatever it is that they want to. And that's the emotional connection. What is the value that your brand or product starts with? And whether it's empowering young parents, with products that make parenting easier, whether it's a way to make something simpler, faster, or more comfortable, or lead a healthier lifestyle, those are those value propositions that really help people transcend a specific product. And it will keep your customers from jumping ship and purchasing a competitor's product when it comes along.
So how can I totally recognize the importance of creating that connection with an audience, with a customer or a potential customer of yours? What are like 1 to 3 very specific things that you think sellers should give a shot to do that on Amazon, recognizing how difficult it is to make that connection on Amazon, and partly because customers on Amazon are act in a very interesting way when it comes to brand loyalty, right? Customers on Amazon aren't about brand loyalty as much, but there are different things sellers can do to draw them off of Amazon and establish that. So what do you think sellers should give a shot to?
Yeah, so I think number one, you've got to tell your brand story. Yes, there is a section in the A+ content to get premium A+ content called your brand story, but it's not just about that section. It is really about infusing the product listing with your brand, what your brand stands for, why it started. We have a client that sells potty training products, right? And she talks about being a young mom and developing this as a way to make other parents' lives easier. That creates an emotional connection. It really does.
Definitely.
And so number one is telling your brand story. Number two is you've got to use lifestyle, right? There's got to be an element. If all of your product stuff is sort of stock photography and sort of generic
images,
copy,
lifestyle images, right?
Now, there's a way to create even a lifestyle impression using stock photography, but you've really got to blend it.
Yeah.
It really has to be authentic. It really has to come through and emote and connote your brand specifically. And the last piece is actually what happens after purchase, which is the customer service. How do you treat a customer when they come back and say, I've got a problem with your product?
That's good.
Or, it arrived damaged, or somebody stole it off my porch. Are you going to go the extra mile and say, we care about you as a customer more so than just a single transaction?
Yeah.
And, for me, yes, there's products that the first time I go to buy on Amazon, I do that search, 30 seconds, I'm finding a product, I check out the reviews, I add it to cart and buy it. But I find, Cameron, is that once I buy a product, if it's good, and I just bought a cell phone case, and the old one broke after a couple years, I bought a new one. I went to search my orders.
Yes, you're going to go back to buy the same product.
Buy it again.
You're going to go buy again.
It was a good product.
Because you had a good experience.
That's exactly right.
Those things stood out.
Yep.
And if you don't have a good experience like that, it's not going to stand out in your mind, and you're not even going to remember that you ordered that or go back to order the same one from that same brand.
An interesting stat from Southwest Airlines, which has been consistently rated one of the top customer service airlines in the industry. They found that if a customer complains, has a bad experience, and you're able to rectify that, 87% of the time they will be a customer for life. I mean, that is incredible.
That's insane.
We just think pissed off customer, we're done.
Yep,
Sorry,
yep.
Tough love. But if you can win that customer back, which takes work, which takes effort, which requires, some good communication skills on your customer service team, you got to go the extra mile.
Talk about differentiating your product. Southwest, 2 free check bags, the companion pass being accessible. Like, that's a really good example for how Southwest has differentiated themselves, regardless of everything Southwest that's also going on right now with piloting and whatnot.
Yeah.
But Shannon, I think that this is a good place to call it in terms of brand defense. Like, this is a really good conversation that needs drilled into deeper. We need to have this more.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you for talking about this.
Thanks for having me.
Where can people find you and connect with you?
So on Avenue, you can find me online at LinkedIn. Shannon Roddy, Avenue 7 Media on LinkedIn, and our website is avenue7media.com. Cameron, thanks so much for having me.
Avenue 7. Thank you, Shannon.